You are listening to Processing Trauma Out Loud, conversations about trauma and healing from two women who are doing the work.
Hey everyone, it's Kandace and Sher with Processing Trauma Out Loud. Sher, you and I just spent the last 45 minutes talking through a subject that we've done many episodes on. And we're coming back to it because we both agree that it's the foundation of our own healing. It is what we see in our clients and the people that we know that are healing. And it is the topic of attachment wounding. And what does it mean to be designed for human connection in the form of having a secure attachment, a secure attachment with ourselves, with others, with God, even nature, and just in life in general.
We're made for connection. We can't get around it. We are made for connection, and everybody, at whether we recognize it fully or not, we are made for connection, and we are longing for connection. And some people might say, well, I don't long that much for connection, but we do. And and maybe it's not even that you feel you're longing for connection with another human. And maybe it's like, I want to connect with nature. But we really are made for human connection. And when this is wounded early in life, which for so many of us it is, even before birth, there can be wounding in the womb where the infant has where the fetus has the awareness that the mother does not want them or the father does not want them. And then once we're born in those early days, weeks, months, years of life, when the child has some sense of they are not experiencing being seen, soothed, safe, and secure, we develop styles of relating to help us survive in a world that feels devoid of the thing that we long for the most.
Mm-hmm. Not only do we experience what it means to heal an attachment wound for us personally and the people we know, but there's science behind this. There's actually been studies done of infants who went without human connection. And so this isn't actually a new thing. We do just have more brain science coming forward on the differences of brains that are experiencing wholeness. Let's call it wholeness, where every part of the brain is lighting up because the neural pathways are not fragmented. And so we do want to mention that. And though we're not experts in this field, if you will, we're not neuroscientists, we have seen the fruit of paying attention to this. And that's why we're doing this. And so, I think where we're going to head today is, what is a secure attachment? What does it look like? What does it feel like? How does it develop? And does that mean it's just perfect all the time?
Yeah. And I think also for us, we want to share a little bit about what it's been like for us to begin to experience secure connection in our relationships and how meaningful it is even at this point in our lives. And so, yeah, I mean, we talk a lot about insecure attachment being maybe the person who avoids connection, or the person who is very anxious about their connections, or the person who struggles between those two, that chaotic or disorganized attachment. We want to really start today talking about what is secure attachment. What does that look like?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Before we get into that, when we were discussing the notes that you showed up with today, we were talking, you have mentioned this before on the podcast, and I think it's worth noting again. Both anxious and avoidant attachment wounds, those insecure attachment wounds, have anxiety. It's that the anxious attachers are preoccupied with the anxiety and how they get it to soothe, and the avoidant attachers avoid the anxiety and try to numb it and shut it down, disassociate from it. So we want to make it clear there's anxiety in both. It's the way that you respond to that anxiety that's different. Does that make sense? Did I explain that okay?
Very, very well. And I think it's important to mention that. And I think it's like my brain is going in 100 different directions where we could go with getting into that, and we will get into that more next week, I think.
Okay.
But yes, so important to recognize, like when we're talking about anxiety, we're talking about the sensations in our body. And so I'll just say this to our listeners. When you're in the context of a relationship, particularly where you feel some sense of conflict or distress or longing for something more or feeling hurt, like try to tune into what are you feeling in your body? Like, where is the tension? Where is the anxiety? Where is the numbness? What are you feeling in your body? Because this is the pathway then into what do we do with those sensations to survive?
Yeah.
Because this is where we have so much compassion, because when we're caught in insecure attachment, it's all about our brain and body's ways of surviving since we were very, very young.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's going to be unconscious initially. Like, you've said this before, I've said this before, we're going to keep saying it. Almost 100% of the time, you have to have somebody else be in this space with you. And this is why those attachment woundings are very young. And so you have to have an adult that is securely attached that can come in and see that inner child in you with the attachment wounding. And you and I both have had Lori Proctor. We've had Patria with The Broken and the Beautiful, and Lori was so that. And so we've had these women and other women who have gone before us in this, who had found more secure attachment within their own system so they could see those little young wounded places and they could be the anchor. They could be the good mama. They could be the guide. That when we were kind of out in the ocean flailing, they were throwing out the life vest or the rescue, whatever we needed. And so that, I hope that makes sense when we say we can't do this alone.
I love that picture too. I've been saying a lot lately. We can't see what we don't see. We can't know what we can't know. Like, if we're in the middle of the ocean and we can't swim, we can't swim. We have to have help. Bottom line. And we're going to talk about this next week or the week after, about some things that we must do if we're serious about healing these attachment wounds. Like, I dropped a few F-bombs talking about this morning. Like, why are we playing around? Let's get serious. Let's do the work. Let's find the healing. And you and I have made this commitment. We've been talking about it. Like, our lives are changing. Literally, our lives are changing. I know secure. I'm in my mid-60s. I now know secure attachment. Not that I didn't have hints of it before. I did. Not that I never had a person in my life that didn't provide some safety. I did. But in the scope that I know it now, like I will say, I think I'm mostly, Kandace, can I say this? I am mostly now a securely attached woman.
Mhm. Yes. So what you've known before have been crumbs. They've been good crumbs,
Mm-hmm.
but crumbs will not give you everything you need to be nourished.
Yeah.
You have been given a feast in secure attachment.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to say we're talking mostly about being securely attached today, and we'll get into the nuances of all the other attachment styles. But you and I both have this in common. This isn't about blaming, and it's not about shaming, but we are truth tellers
Yeah.
because we believe that the truth really does set us free.
Yeah.
The spiritual environments, the religious environments that we've been in, that were led by many people with their own insecure attachment woundings, had to say, go figure that out with God.
Mm-hmm.
Go figure it out with God. You just need God.
Mm-hmm.
Well, of course, we're going to say, well, yeah, that's true. All we need is God. And so we actually, that's called spiritual bypassing. We're going to throw you on God and tell you that God wants to do what he actually has told us to do.
Yeah.
So God didn't tell us to save people. He did tell us to help one another heal, to grow, to feel loved.
Mm-hmm.
And so, unfortunately, we know this space, and a lot of the people that we work with know this space, and they come in like, I'm reading scripture every day, I'm praying every day, I'm having my quiet time every day. Why is that not working?
Yeah. Yeah. Easy answer. The limbic brain.
Yeah, say
and
more, please.
well, we'll talk more about that. I think where I want us to go, though, Kandace, is I want us to keep talking a little bit about what is secure attachment feeling like for you right now? Like if someone asks you, well, okay, what does secure attachment even feel like, Kandace? Like, what is it? Give me some concrete stuff. Like, what does it look like in your relationships? What does it feel like in your body? How are you different today than you were 3 years ago or 5 years ago? What does secure attachment look like for you?
I think this is funny that you're asking me this because I got triggered a little bit this morning with a little bit of anxious attachment.
Yeah.
So here's what this looks like for me today. I see it.
Mm.
And I can process through. I can mostly do this with myself now, but I shared it with you too.
Mm-hmm.
And what this looks like for me today is I can go back and see that little girl in a way that I don't get preoccupied with how I need to outsource her healing. I'm the one that can come to her now and say, so if she's driving the bus, she's going to look for ways to numb that pain.
Yeah.
Like, and that could be, I need something from this other person to make me feel secure,
Yep.
and trying to apprehend that in a way that is hurting her. Or you know what? Fuck it. Oops, I probably shouldn't have said that. I don't know if have I ever said that?
We're
Okay.
good.
Okay, we're good. I'm just going to numb it through having 3 glasses of wine. I actually don't even do that anymore. If I even have a drink, it's never because I'm numbing. So, and I mention that because I think it's significant. And as you know, there's a big movement right now about drinking because so many people have realized that drinking only makes it worse.
Yeah.
Like if you're not just having a drink for social enjoyment, whatever, but you're doing it to numb, it will never work.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to make this about drinking. I'm just telling you that was one of the ways that I would quiet the ache in me, is just to have a little bit of a buzz.
Yeah. Numbing the anxiousness that you were feeling in your attachments.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's not going to be the full scope of what you asked me. I'm just pointing out a few things. So, of course, it's making me say, what does that look like for you, in the ways that you've seen some significant differences in how you handle any type of triggering?
Yeah. I think for me, secure attachment is causing me to feel so different in my body. I want to start with that because when I started this work, I couldn't access what I was feeling in my body. And so the coming into this, doing my story work, recognizing how much anxiety I felt in my body, how much hypervigilance I felt in my body, how I did numb it, not even through chemicals, but almost more through like this willpower to just shut it down because I couldn't bear. But so I think recognizing when I'm feeling it in my body, that has been such a big part of the process for me. And so feeling secure is feeling much more calmness in my body, and then also recognizing more quickly when I do feel anxious in my body, and then moving toward that. So I liked what you said, Kandace, and I would agree that, when we do our work with our parts, the whole IFS paradigm that we talked about recently in several episodes, but when we can understand our parts and we know how they struggle and we know why they struggle, we know the stories, like we can come close to them and we can offer the 4 S's, the seeing, the soothing, the safety, the security, so that we can come back to that place where we feel calm again, where we feel stable, like our feet are on the ground, we can breathe. This is secure for me, and it's what I feel in myself. And like you said, and I agree, we often will turn toward people in our lives. And I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago that, we each have 10 to 15 people that we could pick up the phone at any moment and say, I need help right now. And we have confidence that each one of those people could help us come into a place of feeling seen, soothed, safe, and secure. And this is the human connection that we are now, like this is real in our lives. Where we have people that can help us when we are feeling distress, however small or huge that may be. Often we can do it within ourselves, but honestly, I think there's real joy when we turn towards somebody else too and say, hey, can you just hear me? I'm experiencing something. I'm not even exactly sure what's going on, but I feel like I'm swirling a little bit. And to get those eyes on us, it brings such relief. And relief is what our little baby girl needed, what our little 2-year-old, 4-year-old, 5-year-old girl needed. We needed relief when we felt that anxiety, when we needed connection, and it just wasn't there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that relief to me feels like a burden lifted. So in IFS, it's called unburdening.
Yeah.
And if there's any bit of confusion over, okay, do we need other people to do this or can we do it ourselves? Almost always, you cannot do it yourself initially.
No.
And so even when we get to the point that there are things that we actually can do ourselves, I mean, if you can, you will start to.
Yep.
And there's probably never going to be a point where you wouldn't ever have anything that you don't need help in. And this is the beauty of really being human, like you said. Like what does it mean to serve one another? Well, for you and I, when I think about that, it's helping unburden one another.
Yeah.
And so there is a place where we can provide a level of self-care in our dysregulation.
Mm-hmm.
And we will always need other people.
And the more we enter that place of security, the more comfortable we are with needing one another. Because in the needing, it moves us into this space where we feel seen, soothed, safe, and secure, which is what we in our humanity need the most and long for the most. And when we get it, we experience freedom and love and life in the ways that we are meant to. And so, yeah, it's, I do a lot of my own self-care. I do. I spend a lot of time in the mornings and I journal but I love when I can turn towards somebody and say, "Hey, do you have a few minutes? I need to work through something." And then to have that other person say, "Yeah, absolutely. Where are you at?"
Yes. And when you do that, it gives the other person joy and a sense of delight that you trust them. Like anytime you come to me, there is this sense of, it's not, I mean, there is a responsibility there, but it's more of, I want to welcome you with delight. Like, oh my gosh, I love helping take care of you.
Yeah.
And that, when we start, that actually will help heal insecure attachment. You're not a burden.
Yep.
You're not too much. You are enough. And I find joy in being so a part of your life that you would trust me to come to me to help meet your needs.
Yeah.
I think that's a good wrap up for our first episode. What do you think?
Yeah, I love it. Thank you, Kandace.
Yeah, thank you, Sher. And we will be back to talk more about the nuances of the insecure attachment styles.
Love you,
Love you,
friend.
friend.